Palantir's Technology is a U.S. software company that provides data operations and AI infrastructure platforms. Palantir Gotham Analytics software was developed specifically in the context of war, originating in 2003-2004 to help U.S. intelligence and military forces analyze data for the war on terror. According to Palantir, Palantir's Gotham achieves AI-driven combat superiority from space to mud. So why was Gotham an AI-driven operating system specifically built for and deployed in the theaters of war, secretly deployed in New Orleans under a DOJ's consent decree? Before Palantir, there was Inslaw's Promise software. What's it say? Software piracy, conspiracy, cover-up, stonewalling, covert action, just another decade at the DOJ. The continuous evolutionary history of U.S. government surveillance efforts led to total information awareness, which eventually led to Palantir. Here are two internet personalities from opposite sides of the political spectrum's take on Palantir. Whitney Webb is a white female investigative journalist and author.
Whitney, let's go back to the beginning. Poindexter, Iran-Contra, which I covered actually when I was in Nicaragua, because that's really the origin of where we are today.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would argue, one of the best starting points, and also thanks so much for having me on, Chris. So John Poindexter, as of course you know, was one of the national security advisors to Reagan and was the highest ranking member of his administration. That was indicted as part of Iran-Contra, but he is also remembered as the quote-unquote godfather of modern surveillance. And this is in part because of his efforts in the immediate post-9/11 era, pioneering the an office within DARPA that housed a program called Total Information Awareness. So right after the Reagan administration, Poindexter was sort of in various roles throughout these tech companies that were sort of a prototype to what Palantir and Total Information Awareness would later do, that were defense contractors and trying to basically create, use sort of, predictive analytics to determine what terrorists would do next, all before 9/11 even happened. And of course, there was a renewed demand for that type of technology and these sort of innovative solutions in the immediate post 9/11 era. When this information, was reported on Total Information Awareness, there was a huge outcry throughout, U.S. mainstream media. A lot of organizations, including the ACLU and organizations like that, rightly noted that it would eliminate the constitutional right to privacy and create this very disturbing era of mass surveillance by, I think one of the mainstream media reports on it said that it would fight terrorism by terrifying U.S. citizens, basically, and making everyone a suspect under this type of this paradigm he was seeking to usher in. And so it was eventually, under pressure. It was, I think, first announced in February 2003. And by May, they attempted to change the name to Terrorism Information Awareness, trying to move away from the idea that it would be total, it would surveil absolutely everyone through a name change. But obviously, it didn't change how the program actually worked. It would still be focused on everyday Americans. A total dragnet, really. And in that same month where that name change happened, Peter Thiel incorporated Palantir. And as Palantir was developing as a company, Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, the Palantir co-founders, reached out to Poindexter directly through Richard Pearl, who's a well-known neoconservative figure and was also one of the architects of the Iraq War at the Bush-era Pentagon. And basically they hatched this plan to privatize this program, rightly calculating that if they turned it into a entirely private sector enterprise, the outrage would, essentially dissipate, which it remarkably did, because, originally it was a public-private partnership housed within DARPA, and then by making it this private sector enterprise, a lot of the concerns about it disappeared, and this is arguably because by moving into the private sector, they were able to accomplish a lot more than they could have by being affiliated directly with the public sector, even though they contract with the public sector. And so Palantir, funding-wise, was set up with money from Peter Thiel himself, and that the algorithm for it had originally been developed at PayPal, and the other funding source was the CIA's In-Q-Tel. And one of the figures that helped made that funding decision was the CIA's chief information officer at the time, named Alan Wade. And Alan Wade had been one of the top allies of the Total Information Awareness with Poindexter, in the immediate post 9/11 era. And so the CIA was Palantir's exclusive exclusive client for, I believe, the first 6 years of its existence as a company. And its engineers went to Langley, CIA headquarters in Virginia every 2 weeks for several years as well, where the CIA was developing their algorithm with them, in a very direct partnership. And Alex Karp has even said that the CIA was always the intended clients of Palantir.
So if the CIA was the intended client of Palantir, why the hell was the NOPD allowed to secretly deploy this type of software against the citizens of New Orleans under a DOJ consent decree? Don't worry, according to Jeff Asher, he was the first analyst to extensively use the Palantir software. Back to that Verge 2018 expose. That analyst, Jeff Asher, was a former intelligence agent who joined the NOPD from the CIA. Both his boss, Ronald Serpis, and Palantir document that Asher initially ran social network analysis on Gotham. Here's Nick Fuentes, a Mexican-American white nationalist and political commentator's take on Palantir.
What is Palantir? Can you explain what this is a little bit?
Palantir is a CIA cutout. So in 2001, after 9/11, they created this it's basically artificial intelligence or an algorithm to interpret these vast amounts of data. The intelligence community takes all this massive amounts of data, emails, phone calls, text messages. Palantir interprets all of it into insights that are usable by law enforcement. And so in 2001, after 9/11, they took what was a CIA program and they just effectively privatized it to bypass the Constitution. Constitution protects people's privacy, but a private company doesn't have to play by the same rules.
So 2001, you're saying that the CIA was spying on people and collecting all this data, and then to get around public oversight, they sort of transferred this into a private company?
Right. So Palantir is a firm that creates usable insights based on vast amounts of data. It's a private entity to circumvent the Constitution. They're founded in 2001. Until 2008, they only worked for the CIA. And the CIA actually provided startup money through their venture capital arm, In-Q-Tel. So they provided all the money for it, and they created all the products. So Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Joe Lonsdale, they were at Langley, Virginia at the CIA headquarters making everything for the CIA as a so-called contractor.
The whole time Gotham was being deployed on the citizens of New Orleans, it was a privately held company. It did not become a publicly traded company till September 2020. Palantir did not become profitable till 2023. Here's how someone like me can end up in a Gotham AI platform dragnet from a false arrest based on knowingly false allegations.
Try to make her leave. Is that what you're saying?
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What's your last name?
My grounds that she could leave. She had my ID and my debit card.
What's your last name?
De La Rosa, sir.
Spell it.
DELAROSA.
What's your birthday?
January 27, 1980.
Do you have a Louisiana ID?
No, sir.
Where's it out of?
It's Florida.
Florida? Florida's not gonna pull up anything.
Sir, I promise you, I'm so sorry for this. I've never had a trauma like this, a gun pulled around me or anything. And I want to apologize to you.
That's a little late for that.
Huh? What did you say, sir? And y'all would hear him talk about what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Just with the guns and stuff
How many people have seen a police program that's being used called Palantir? It is in your police officer's car on your police officer's computer. So while you've got the person pulled over, you can start to drill down on this person. It's not just like a DMV photo and an NCIC anymore. You can see all their bank accounts, the balance in their bank accounts, the last times they declared cash somewhere. You can see every time they hit a flock camera anywhere in the country. Flock is a giant national traffic monitoring system that is basically everywhere now. And they're taking photographs at every intersection all day. And it's using AI to like read license plates and put identities of people, places, and it's just keeping all that data, like all of it. That's what they've got in their car right now, and we're not getting that in discovery. We're not able to confront it, and we're not able to use it as Brady evidence. We've got Fourth Amendment issues galore, obviously. I didn't realize how prevalent it was. There has never been a surveillance program in the history of the United States that was not used brutally and in a corrupt fashion. And now we have the biggest surveillance system that we've ever had.
I'm Meredith, and I'm a deployment strategist at Palantir. During my time as an active duty Air Force officer, I saw firsthand how hard it is to navigate the fog of war. Over the past 20 years, we've been focused on the counterinsurgency fight.
This promotional video created by Palantir for Gotham only addresses the context of fighting war. Apache Chinook helicopters and fighter jets in this promotional video suggests Gotham provides military warfare superiority. So has Gotham developed New Orleans been used for war? Yes, Palantir Gotham software has been extensively used by Ukraine in its conflict against Russia, serving as a core component of its battlefield targeting. Yes, reports indicate Palantir Technologies supplies its Gotham software to the Israeli military, which have been used for intelligence gathering, surveillance, and targeting in Gaza and the West Bank. Palantir Gotham is an AI-powered data analytic platform that integrates facial recognition and primarily used by government, defense, and intelligence agencies. I'm the survivor of a 5th-generation warfare campaign by the NOPD who had access to Gotham. Yes, the secret deployment of AI in facial recognition for 5th-generation warfare is a quintessential example of the modern fog of warfare. While historically the fog of war referred to the uncertainty and confusion regarding the enemy's location, capability, and intentions on a battlefield, in 5th-generation warfare, that fog is intentionally created and accelerated by hidden digital surveillance, AI-driven disinformation to manipulate perception. Powering the kill chain, who? Gotham's targeting offering supports soldiers with an AI-powered kill chain in the modern battle space. According to its website, your software is the weapon system. In Silicon Valley, data is viewed as the new oil and essential high-value asset. You can pause to read the rest. Here's what the president thinks of Palantir. You can pause to read if Google thinks about Gotham being developed on New Orleans for war.